This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers quarterback situation for Saturday night's game against Baltimore remains up in the air as Jordan Love remains in the concussion protocol and Malik Willis limited with a shoulder injury. However, Coach Matt LaFleur did say that Love is progressing in the protocol, has taken part in meetings, would be limited if they actually practice today instead of the walkthrough they'll have. Willis would also be limited if they actually practice. LaFleur was asked if he feels better now about their statuses for Saturday night than he did 48 hours ago.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. We got to see how they progress throughout the course of the week. So by no means are they in the clear.
Packers can clinch a playoff berth with a win over Baltimore. That's in part because the Lions lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers on Sunday. LaFleur said that game was pretty irrelevant to him and his staff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, we're so focused on us. We got a lot of stuff to clean up, and we got a lot of stuff to try to get better at and improve at, and I think that's where the focus is going to lie right now.
Again, it'll be the Packers and Ravens on Saturday night at Lambeau Field. Kick is set for 7:20. Turn to the Badgers. Their second leading rusher is going to the transfer portal. Dylan Jones became the 15th player to go into the portal so far.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the third largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Wisconsin basketball team got back on track last night with a blowout win of Central Michigan. They're off until next Tuesday against Milwaukee, and the Bucks are in Indy to take on the Pacers. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
As far as Malik goes, every time he comes in, it just seems like he moves the offense, to your point. I have no idea what constitutes a starting caliber quarterback in this league, but do you view him that way?
Absolutely. I think 100%. I think he's done a hell of a job. I think we've all seen it, right? I mean, when he's gone in there, we've been able to move the football. We've won games with him as a starter, so we've got a ton of confidence in him and his ability to go in there and win a game if need be.
I mean, it's a part of the job description. You just try to do what you can to take the mental reps. And, if you got to get extra reps after practice or whenever you're individual, you take those reps as serious as you can because you're going to be called upon.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Some Malik Willis coded audio in the intro. I believe in the second hour of last night's show, we had a lot of conversation about Malik Willis impressing as a backup. And then Tony in Texas called in and said, I think he's better than Jordan Love. And I'm like, well, I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, Malik Willis did lose the game, big fumble in overtime. I like him a lot. Don't make me be on the other side of it by going over the top. We talked a lot about Malik Willis last night. So that was a question and answer. Ryan Wood and Matt LaFleur talking about Malik Willis and the way that he's wired in his approach. And then a comment from Malik Willis himself, just about needing to stay ready. Because that's the thing about being the number 2 quarterback. You don't get backup reps. You run the scout team. Your job Monday through Friday is to emulate the other guy, not to get backup reps and you have to replace your guy. That's not how it works. So it's a very unique job. And I got to say, I didn't see it coming when they acquired Malik Willis. I said, oh, okay. It was mostly a disaster in Tennessee. I didn't think it made any sense. Why not get a proven backup, whatever that means, a veteran backup? That's always what we say, right? And it has worked, and he's won them games. He should have won them another game on Saturday, but gestures broadly, special teams, onside kick, red zone, etc., all of the things. So I want to start with Malik Willis tonight. I got to break up this rhythm we've been in of, is Jordan Love the guy? How much of this is on Jordan Love now? And is Matt LaFleur even good? And is Brian Gutekunst done enough to deserve an extension? Is Matt LaFleur going to get an extension? What is that policy thing? I can't do this anymore. I need to do something different to start the show today. I can't do this anymore. So I want to go not completely off the wall, but I want to talk about Malik Willis. And I assume that he's going to look elsewhere for opportunities this offseason. His contract is up. And I don't know what the Packers would have to pay him to stay. Depends on what other teams would want to pay him to leave, but I would assume he wants to go compete for a job somewhere. That would make reasonable sense to me. So I want to kick around what that might look like and maybe some spots. It would be interesting landing spots. If I ran, another team in the NFL, how I would approach possibly Malik Willis being available. it just sounds more interesting to start the show with that than keep doing the same thing that we've been doing. And I enjoy the Monday through Friday rhythm of the football season. Don't get me wrong, but I got to do something a little different today. Zach Heilprin going to be here at 4:30. I want to talk college football, his thoughts on the structure, the teams that got in, the games that we've seen so far. A couple more Badgers have announced they're hitting the portal. Eugene Hilton, Dylan Jones. And I don't think any of those players individually are backbreaking. But my question that I want to ask Zach is, Wisconsin has told us they're going to invest more. So if all these guys are leaving, is it because they didn't want to pony up to pay those guys? And if so, are they going to pony up to pay different guys that fit? Are they going to pony up for different positions? Like, what shape does Zach see this thing taking? So that's what we're going to discuss at 4:35. And then at 5:35, Mike Clemens will be here. It's Tuesday. How lucky are we to be joined by Mike? But like I said, I want to start with Malik Willis, and I'll take your phone calls on this in segment number 2, or you could talk about whatever in segment number 2. It's a de facto Friday. I will be off tomorrow and Christmas. I'll be back on Friday. So a little bit of an open phones Friday, free phones Friday concept. 608-321-1670. I first started thinking about Malik Willis earlier today because I went to Portillo's. I had a gift card, and I thought I'll treat myself to a hot beef. I'm sitting here sweating that hot beef out, but I regret nothing. And on my drive to Portillo's is about 10 minutes. It's about 3 golf ball throws, but I have to go to Westtown Mall, and nobody in this city knows how to drive. So I was listening to a podcast on the way, and I was listening to John Middlecoff, who does his 3 and Out podcast, but he does the pod with Cowherd as well on Sundays, the recap, kind of a market correction, if you will, in my opinion, of Simmons and Russillo. Well, not even opinion, because Simmons and Russillo aren't at the same company anymore. So I go to Cowherd and Middlecoff. And in his mailbag, someone asked, would you, if you were a general manager, want Malik Willis to come in and compete for a starting job? So to get the ball rolling on this conversation, I'm just going to play his answer to that. It's about 90 seconds here. So this is John Middlecoff.
Is Justin Fields, I'd have to look at the numbers. Obviously, Justin's got a ton of time to play. But I've watched Malik Willis now, definitely in that game alone. Like, I would rather have Malik Willis than Justin Fields. And this is where, like, we discriminate guys that aren't top picks. Like, Justin Fields got $40 million this offseason. He got benched immediately, right? He was atrocious. Listen, I'm not putting all the blame on him. The Jets are a joke, but he was a bad player on other teams. Like, he's just a runaround guy, can't pass. Right? He's got a big arm, but he like Malik Willis in that game, pocket throws, to me, just like if you said, John, you have to have one of these 2 guys as your starter next year, Malik Willis or Justin Fields, I wouldn't even hesitate for Malik Willis. So clearly in the infrastructure of the Packers the last couple of years, he's dramatically improved. And obviously, like Justin Fields, he brings the physical running element too. But the deep ball that he threw for the touchdown, some of those drive throws over the middle of the field, even a couple touch passes, 1,000%. If I would 100, if you can get Malik Willis, can you get it for like 1 year, $10 million or something? I wouldn't even hesitate to do that. That was really, really impressive on Saturday night. To come in out of the bullpen where you get no practice reps, the game plan is to Love, whose skill set is just a little different. I mean, Love is, to me, much more of a true pocket quarterback, where Malik Willis is much more of a hybrid. He's like, honestly, what they were hoping Justin Fields would be.
So the reason that he's bringing up Justin Fields, and I hadn't thought of this framing, is, okay, well, Justin Fields was in a similar spot where he had, been brought up as kind of a backup option in Pittsburgh, but started a little bit. They won some games, and then he hits the open market. And I think the reason that Justin Fields is a good, addition or a good, centerpiece or starting point to this conversation is their skill sets are, in theory, very similar. And contractually, like, that's a good place to start. Like, let's look at what other guys have got on the market. Justin Fields, who was placed on IR today, by the way, Aaron Glenn announced, just not a great season. He's with the Jets, so what do you want? But pretty much a disaster. 2 years, $40 million, $30 million fully guaranteed from the Jets, which, as I've talked about on Bill's show, because we have more time and we'll do buy or sell and we'll look around the NFL. We don't do as much of that on this show because it's a little tighter, only 2 hours. What an insane contract. Who are they bidding against? $30 million guaranteed for Justin Fields, who was benched when his team was winning? Insane. But that's a little bit of a framework of what guys have gotten previously to go compete for starting jobs elsewhere. Darnold last year got 1 year, $10 million, about $8 million guaranteed. Mac Jones got 2 years, $8.4 million, about $4 million a year. About half of that guaranteed. That's what an opposing, if a general manager around the NFL was looking to bring in Malik Willis as a free agent, as a bridge guy, or to compete for a starting job, I would think somewhere $8 million, $10 million, 2 years, $12 million, maybe a yearly salary of anywhere from $6 to $10 million. We'll see, unless someone goes completely nuts, but that's the ballpark, right? Take an average of Darnold, Mac Jones, Justin Fields. I don't know that you can use that as a reference point, but that's another option that a team took. Yeah, I'm with Middlecoff. I'd way rather have Malik Willis at a fraction, I would assume, of the salary. I also, again, don't know what other team was paying Justin Fields anywhere near $30 million guaranteed, but Jets, gestures broadly, catastrophe of a franchise. If I was a general manager without a quarterback, without a surefire thing at quarterback, when Jordan Love took over a couple of years ago, the whole idea was we got to figure out if he's the guy. And whether or not you think he's the best quarterback in the world, he's shown that he's the guy. He has established himself in a place where his team is not actively looking to replace him in the offseason, right? So we need to find teams or general manager jobs or situations where they don't know if they have the guy. Maybe they're preparing to draft who they hope can be the guy. Maybe that guy might be on the roster, but they're not sure. And they're not comfortable going into next year only with that guy. I would love to pay Malik Willis $10 million to come in. He has shown in Green Bay that he can make the throws and do some of the running stuff. I think failure in Tennessee to then go to another spot and to figure it out and to be beloved by everybody and to have the mental wherewithal and the composure and the resilience and all of the traits to be a backup and to just be ready to go whenever you're needed out of nowhere, which has happened twice this year. And he's played more than good enough to win both of those games. They won the game against the Giants. He didn't play for as much. Chicago, they should have won the game. Just field an onside kick, for God's sake. I would want that guy. I think someone in the NFL is going to want this guy. And I tell you, folks, as I start looking at the teams, I think there's one team that makes a lot of sense. I was looking at the teams at the bottom of the standings. The Raiders, I probably wouldn't. They're probably going to draft a guy. They're probably going to get worse before they get better. They got to probably change coaches. The Browns we're just not going to talk about the Browns. The Titans are off the list because he was already there. And they like Cam Ward. I'm going from the bottom to the top of the AFC. The Jets just paid Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed. I don't think they're in the bridge quarterback business. Then you talk about the Bengals. Now, the Bengals probably feel, well, we could use a great backup. Joe Burrow's been banged up, but Malik Willis is going to want to go somewhere to compete for a starting job, we would assume. The Dolphins, that could be interesting. That could be intriguing. They're 6-9. They're going to be paying Tua a bunch of money. I would guess they're going to look to draft someone. All right, Miami's kind of intriguing. And then once you get above Miami, it's Kansas City, Baltimore, Houston, Buffalo, LA, Pittsburgh. I kind of hope Rodgers plays another year. Jacksonville, New England, Denver, all of those quarterbacks, all of those teams have their quarterbacks. I should say that. Okay, so Miami maybe could be interesting, but I don't really see a spot in the AFC. Let's look at the NFC. Okay, the Giants. Now, the Giants could be in a spot where they could keep Jackson Dart and trade a really high pick for a bunch of other stuff, or they could trade Jackson Dart and draft their quarterback of choice. Okay, be interesting. Arizona's going to be in the quarterback market. I don't know exactly what they're fixing to do. They're 3-12 and probably feel as though they'll be in a spot to draft their own guy. And again, probably a team that gets worse before they get better. Washington has Jaden Daniels. New Orleans, I would think, has to probably feel pretty good about Tyler Shaw. Whatever. Atlanta's paying Kirk Cousins a mountain of money. They don't have a first-round pick, which complicates matters a little bit if they want to get another quarterback, but I don't think they can because they drafted Penix and they paid Kirk Cousins. I think they're off the board. Dallas has a guy. Tampa has a guy. And then the top of the standings, Detroit, Green Bay, Rams, Niners, Panthers, Eagles, Bears, Seahawks. All those teams have their guy. You know what team would actually make really good sense? A team that might have their quarterback, could potentially, possibly have their quarterback, but they're not sure. And it's probably not an okay course of action to go into next year assuming that the guy they have is the guy. Probably wouldn't be prudent. The guy who they have that might be the guy. Can't stay healthy. Still are unsure of the guy. You probably don't want to draft another guy because then you're dealing with 2 young quarterbacks. Both needed to play to develop. You know what team would actually make a ton of sense for Malik Willis? Minnesota Vikings. Like, if you're a Vikings fan hearing this doesn't sound insane, right? It's another version of Sam Darnold. Toolsy. I mean, Malik Willis was not a high-level pick, but he wasn't, like, undrafted. He wasn't Brock Purdy, or he wasn't, like, he's not Taysom Hill. Like, he was one of the higher quarterback prospects in his draft, and he was a stat monster at Liberty. He just wasn't thought of as a very good quarterback draft, so he didn't go as high. If I was the Vikings, and I know they have a lot of, like, salary cap tied up into old defensive players, and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is probably going to have to figure out some money situations across that roster. I'm not going to pretend like I'm intimately aware of, like, what was the defensive lineman they signed? Daron Payne? Was that the one? No, it was one of the guys who I thought once upon a time was on Washington. But they have a bunch of high-priced players on that defense. They would maybe have to move some money around. But Malik Willis to the Vikings could be very similar to Daniel Jones to the Colts. It's like, well, Anthony Richardson might be the guy, but he can't stay healthy. And most of the time when he's played, he's been pretty crappy. And we're holding out hope that maybe he comes into camp and he's really figured it out and it's his starting job. We hope that he can win the job, but we can't go into next year assuming that he's won the job. And the Colts didn't, and Daniel Jones played well, and it worked out for them, or it was working out okay. I'm not going to act like they're going to win a Super Bowl with a healthy Daniel Jones. But, man, if I ran the Vikings, I think it makes a ton of sense. Pay Malik Willis $10 million or, whatever it would take. Nice backup money, and you say, come in, and you'll be given an opportunity to compete for the starting job. And then Malik Willis might think, okay, like, I wonder what Malik Willis thinks of J.J. McCarthy. Because I think that was a big part of it. Like, Daniel Jones going to Minnesota thinking, like, I can beat out Anthony Richardson. You know what I mean? Malik Willis, they're going to see J.J. McCarthy twice this year, see J.J. McCarthy's team twice this year at least. I know J.J. McCarthy announced they had a broken hand today. His season might just be over. I don't know. But the Vikings can't go into next season with J.J. McCarthy and nobody else. I don't know, man. I think it makes a lot of sense. If I ran the Vikings, I would explore it. And I hope that doesn't happen, but I also feel like Malik Willis could go there and probably be pretty good. I don't know. It's an interesting situation to me, and I'm just really impressed with the guy. Doesn't mean I want him starting over Jordan Love, because I think Jordan Love is better. But Malik Willis getting a shot at a spot like that, where the roster's already good, like Russell Wilson and Matt Flynn years ago, except the Seahawks just, hit a home run with the drafting of Russell Wilson. I'm intrigued. I must say, I'll take your calls on this. The latest on the Packers, I have a couple comments from Matt LaFleur from his presser earlier today. Some injury updates that I can give you. The latest injury designations for some banged up players that were or were not at practice today. And remember, Zach Heilprin coming up at 4:35, which will be a real treat. We can talk some college football as well. But to your thoughts, your phone calls next, 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show. It's funny. Some like-minded individuals over on the text line beat me to my Minnesota Vikings punch. Just started the show by talking about Malik Willis for a couple minutes because I got to break up the routine of how much of this is Jordan Love going to have to step up and Matt LaFleur and fourth downs. And I got to do something different. So we're just kicking around Malik Willis and, maybe if he goes looking for another job this offseason, which teams make sense. I think the Minnesota Vikings are a perfect fit. If I ran the Vikings, hey, 10 million, 11 million, whatever. Come in here 1 year, compete with J.J. McCarthy. If J.J. McCarthy is awesome, whatever, you'll be really well compensated. Plus, McCarthy gets hurt all the time anyway, so you'll probably play. And if you grab the reins of the starting job, maybe we'll be really good. Zach and Altoona texts in, I think before I made this point in the first segment, says, a potential Green Bay slightmare, a mild nightmare, he says, scenario. What if the Minnesota Vikings bring in Malik Willis after this year to compete with the starter? Push J.J. McCarthy a little bit, work with Kevin O'Connell. Willis gets the starting job, and the Vikings beat the Packers a couple of times next year on their way to winning the North. Fiction, obviously, but makes me wonder. That would suck. I love Willis and want him to succeed in a great environment that treats him well. If he doesn't stay, go Pack, go. It'd be Minnesota. I think it makes sense. Your calls on this and anything else, I'll give you some Packers injury updates here in a sec. But first, a call, 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant Bills, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, Vagabond John.
I'm ecstatic and over the moon. I can't be the only corporate person that just closed their laptop for the first real time until January. Probably have that Friday off, so January 5th, and couldn't be more excited. I usually make a smoothie after work when I'm listening to your intros. It's kind of like a routine. Like I just connect the blender with Grant giving us his introductory take.
Wow.
And today, instead of grabbing the Greek yogurt next to my chia seeds and flax seeds that I'm sure is also in Dave Manona's fridge, I grabbed a tub of ice cream, and I'm going full Z in the D, and I'm making myself a shake, because why the hell not? It's the holidays, a little celebratory. Shout out all the sales reps that just made that final call, sent that final email. Screw those clients that ghosted you. You're better than them anyways. Let's just keep moving along.
Did you hear, by the way, on Z and the D, did you hear, so he went to one of Kate's games in the Dells, basketball games. And I did hear him this morning say on Over the Line that Kate is too young. He's not interested, by the way, that Kate is too young. And I found that admission funny, I will say, from Z and the D, that he is not interested in Kate. He would just like to put that out there for everyone in the world. That not into it. It's not his thing. I found that funny. That's all.
Not interested at all. But I tell you what, if she calls, he's not ignoring that call. Also, he said he was 37, and that was the most shocking part to me. It's like when I found out Mike in Portage was like under 40. I was like, whoa, that didn't. Okay, I'm getting old.
So when I found out that RJ was 40, I thought RJ was not that much older than me, but he's kind of an old, not an old man, but based on my frame of reference of him, for sure, yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, again, shout out everybody that shut their laptops. Now, of course, I'm a millennial homeowner, so I'll be working my second and third jobs during the holidays, but at least one is locked up for the year. Speaking of jobs locked up, put this out there in the ether, I think last week when we were talking about Malik Willis and kind of where he sits. I can't remember who I was chatting with this on, but Grant, I think the Vikings are a playoff team this year if Malik Willis is starting for him for the full season. Like that team, the defense is solid. You know, the Packers still have one more go about. We're looking at tickets. The tickets keep on dropping. We've got a group of 6 going to U.S. Bank here in a couple of weeks, and we just keep on. We haven't pulled the trigger yet. The ticket prices keep on dropping, and if we get Malik Willis playing versus whoever for the Vikings, I think those tickets are going to be pretty cheap, and I think Viking fans should advocate for a guy there. Hey, real quick, I know Zach's coming on later. You sent me the message about Chimere Dike being a Pro Bowler. Not good enough to be at this Wisconsin program. I tell you what, we expect more from our athletes than Pro Bowl wide receivers and returners. Not just a returner, by the way. 3 receiving touchdowns, 4 receiving. I think it's a total of 4 receiving touchdowns and 400 yards. Shout out the kid from Waukesha. Thank you, Ted Kellner and Chris McIntosh, for proving to the state that there is no place in Wisconsin athletics for successful professional athletes. We are only looking for hyped, stars from weird high school rating systems. That's how we're judging success going forward.
Yep.
We don't care about production, and we don't want professional athletes in our program. So kudos to Chim getting the Pro Bowl. Thank you, Ted and Chris McIntosh, for pushing this Wisconsin football program to where it is today. That's all I got.
Yeah, so I will admit, I like playing the Twitter game. Appreciate the call, Vagabond John. And I will send certain tweets or things that I see to certain group chats or burner accounts. Like, I, as a mature and well-respected member of the media, clearly cannot engage in such corners or conversations or, parts of the internet. But I have a lot of friends on Twitter with burners, with, fan accounts, stan accounts, music accounts. Well, they can. So I'll feed them a little red meat. Hey, did you see this? Go ahead. Go after. You see what this other radio host said? I'm not going to say anything, but, go, let it rip. Get at him. And I saw the Tennessee Titans put out a tweet today about Chimere Dike, learning that he is a Pro Bowler in the NFL. How about that? And I saw that. I said, that is Vagabond John material through and through. Guy who wasn't good enough at Wisconsin, clearly had to leave, had to go elsewhere to succeed, and is now not just succeeding at the NFL, the pro level. The highest of the Pro Bowlers, the 1% of the 1%, or I don't know, the 3% of the, I don't know what percent of NFLers make the Pro Bowl. I know it's the Pro Bowl, but still. So we did send that to Vagabond John today. And the idea that the Vikings could be a playoff team with Malik Willis, I don't even know that's specific to Malik Willis. They were banged up for long stretches, so you do have to factor that into the Vikings. But over the course of the entire season, that defense is baller. They have a lot of talent. Like, I don't hate the take. In fact, I probably agree with it. All right, let's take one more call here. Then we got a break to get to Zach. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, I got to rebook a flight. Tony from Texas.
Why's that, Tony?
Canceled my flight. I don't know. I don't know if there's not enough pilots or what's going on here.
What airline?
But it's American. But I'm flying into O'Hare, so maybe that's my issue.
Wow. I flew Sun Country this summer. I was delayed by a day. Cost me a vacation day. Not happy about it. And they said that they lost the crew. And I didn't really know I didn't know how to respond to that at the desk. I was like, what do you can't find them? And I think that's probably what it means.
Was it Tom Hanks from Castaway?
Yeah, exactly. They're on an island somewhere over the Pacific. I think that means they probably just ran out of hours. Can't fly anymore. They've worked too hard. They need a break, which I get. But
well, safety first. Besides Romeo Dobbs, which man up, get a real helmet. But
why does that trigger
this
people?
This is a topic that I'm really.
Nothing. Go ahead. Malik Willis is your thing. Let's get into it.
Well, I'm very passionate about this because I'm on the right side of history. And the reason is I watched Malik when he was at Liberty. They play, these smaller teams like where I went to college, University of North Texas, go Mean Green, 11-1 this year. And I watched Malik play and I'm like, man, this guy is good. And then all of a sudden he got on draft boards and he was projected to be a top 5 pick, and the Lions were supposed to take him. And kind of like what happened with Rodgers, Lions got Goff and then Malik just slid down and for whatever reason didn't get drafted high. I think he ended up in the 3rd round maybe. And
I think that's
right, I just happened to be watching Grant. I just happened to be watching a Titans preseason game, the last game he played for the Titans. And I'm like, hey man, Malik Willis looks pretty good. I don't mind him. And then we traded for him. And I don't know, there's just something about that dude. I don't know if it's the leadership, the way he just conducts himself. I'm kind of a sucker for that, guys that do it the right way.
I agree.
And the dude does it the right way. And he, like, kind of like you, when you come in and work for Bill Michaels and work 8 hours, that's like Malik Willis. Just comes in anytime, comes in prepared. He's a professional. He rallies the team. And I actually think he's gained strength in his arm. And he looks good, man. He's a professional quarterback. Is he a starter? I think he could be in the right system, which he is right here. There's certain things that Jordan Love obviously is a better long-term quarterback, but I'm very happy for Malik. And if he doesn't start, he doesn't start. But I think that guy's done well, and hopefully he stays in Green Bay.
You know what I like? My favorite thing that you just said, Tony, professional quarterback. He's a professional quarterback. I watch interviews of Jackson Dart. I'm like, doesn't get it. He's not a professional. He's talented. He's a quarterback. He's not a professional quarterback. I think that's a great way to describe Malik Willis.
Yeah, and Jackson Dart, those guys like that, and Zach Wilson, they're all about the women and the fast life and having a good time. Malik, he's just going to come and study the playbook and go to church on Sunday unless there's a Packer game. Then he's going to go to church on Saturday. That's Malik Willis.
I can't imagine chasing women, Tony. Can you?
I'm trying to settle down, Grant. It's a new year coming up, right?
I feel like I remember this a year ago. Or no, it was Lent, so it was a little less here. I feel like we've had this conversation.
We are. Yeah, we are. But, I did go to church last weekend. True story.
Good.
I saw the purple and the pink candles. It's Advent. I was very excited. Thought about having an iCatholic space with you and Cone Roller and LaCroix Butler. And by the way, LaCroix Butler was a, what do you call those guys that work at the church that helped Altar Boy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was as well. I mean, you were St. Rita's. Come on. I bet you were.
Hey, let's pour one out for St. Rita's of West Dallas. That church shut down. Support your local church. That's what I got to say. I'll give when I have to, but St. Rita's, they closed it down.
I'll give when I have to. That's Tony in Texas. I'll give when I have to. I mean, to keep the place open. But other than that, I mean, Jesus can carry the freight. Yeah, good luck with the womanizing, Tony. Zach Heilprin, a womanizer in his own right, will join us next. I want to talk a little college football. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Mike Clemens in an hour from now. It's the Wisco Sports Show. We'll get back to Packers Bears. I don't want to talk about this game anymore. It's getting to the end of the year. I said at 4 o'clock. I'm getting sick of this routine. I can't. They won. We'll talk about all the good things they did. They lost. Talk about the bad things. Is Jordan Love the guy? Is Matt LaFleur the guy? I gotta bust out of this somehow. We were talking about Malik Willis a little bit. I thought it was interesting. Thought it was fun. We could circle back. I'll take more of your thoughts on that. And like I said, Mike Clemens at 5:35. I'm a couple minutes late. I feel bad. Zach Heilprin joining us, our sports director, our fearless leader at WOZN. And, of course, you can hear him on the camp and the swing. Great work with Jesse Temple as well. Zach, good evening. How are you? Merry Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Merry Christmas Eve to you as well. Always love when you wear the glasses. My favorite part, my favorite shtick, one of my favorite shticks, along with that hair and the mustache. A lot of good shticks that you can do physically. Along with all your mental and radio shticks that you do as well.
It's I just didn't comb my hair this morning. It's not really a shtick. I for whatever reason this week I'm struggling. I didn't want to wear a hat. I wore a hat yesterday. I felt like 2 days in a row that would have been a little much. I do want to talk Badgers with you. The transfer portal's not open yet, but we're getting more announcements. It's been a very busy week in the national college football space, or I should say 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of strong takes thrown around. Herb Street and Klatt, pissing people off with their takes about big school, small schools. I want to ask you, is there been anything that's been discussed or said that you've heard and you've thought, man, if I was on that show, I'd say this. Is there one of these topics where you I wish I could join in on that because I feel like I would add something. I have something to say.
The idea that the NCAA tournament is the worst tournament in sports is a horrible take. It's like the worst possible take you could possibly have. Stick to your sport. Like, it's not even stick to sports. Stick to your sport, I guess, Joel Klatt. Because the NCAA tournament and the small teams make that tournament. Yes, Elite Eight, Final Four, you want the big boys going at each other, but the early rounds of that tournament are based on upsets. And yes, football is so much different. So I get that where he's coming from. The idea of you're not going to have JMU and Tulane beat those big teams. It's just not really usually going to happen. But basketball is different. Basketball, there's such a smaller margin between the teams that anything can happen, and we see that, and that's what makes that tournament great. It's not the big boys winning every single game in the first 2 rounds. It's the little schools making runs. That's what's fun, and then you get the great matchups at the end of it. So his take, horrible take by Joel Klatt.
I struggle with that one because I feel like the point that he was trying to make is and this is probably true, it is probably the worst tournament when it comes to properly crowning a champ. Like if we wanted to most accurately decide a champion, it's probably not the way you do it, right? Maybe is that what he's getting at? But I also think Georgia's going to blast Tulane every time they play him, whereas we've seen Purdue lose to, whoever in college. But that's the difference in the sport that you're getting at, right?
Yes, exactly. So, but he called it the worst tournament.
He did.
So, I mean,
he did.
He lost me there. He lost me. I don't care. You don't say anything else after that that's going to somehow change it.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Should James Madison and Tulane be in the college football playoff in your eyes?
What's the point of playing a season where half the teams, more than half, have any chance whatsoever to win a national championship? What's the point? Why not just move them down a division? Why not just separate the top? Again, I don't want to do that.
Some are saying, that's why I'm making a face, is some have made that point. It's just separate them in a different.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But that's not what this is. So to sit there and say you have no shot at the beginning of the year of making it to the college football playoff, I think is stupid. I think every team that's in Division I at this moment, Division 1A, I guess, or FBS, as we call them now, should have a shot at making the college football playoff. And you play your way in or you play your way out. And that's just what it is. Now, again, this thing's going to get expanded further and further and probably get to 24. And at that point, those teams definitely deserve to be in. I can understand it being a little bit different at 12 because you're a team like Notre Dame or some other ones that got left out are better teams than those. But James Madison lost one game all year. And it was a tight game, and it was very early in the season. Otherwise, they dominated, and Tulane did the same thing. So I don't have a problem with them being in, and we get them out of the way now, and you get the better matchups here in the second round.
Yeah, sure. It's like the Chex Mix where you eat the pretzels first, so then you can actually enjoy the rest of it. Like that's not a ringing endorsement for them being in. I guess I don't really have strong feelings on this. What does, other than money for the networks and the colleges and the television inventory, what does expansion from here solve? In what way are we making this thing better by making it bigger?
I don't know why'd they make the NCAA tournament bigger. I mean, it went 32 to 64, and now it's 68 and it's going even higher. It is all about the money. It is what you can potentially get from those networks and the money that can be made for those schools. So yes, the people that are making these decisions are the one that are going to end up making the money. So that is, Grant, I mean, I don't know that anybody that's listening to your show doesn't know what college athletics is about. And
sure,
it's about money.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what it's about. It doesn't solve anything. It's not going to make anything better. We may get more upsets. Like if JMU is playing another, like a SEC, like a lower SEC or a Big Ten team, maybe we get some of those upsets that we're not going to get when it's only 12 teams. But I don't know that it solves anything. It perhaps gives certain teams that have fallen on hard times a chance at some point down the road to make the playoff, which seems the farthest I've ever seen it.
Correct.
In my lifetime.
The more they expand the playoff, the farther away Wisconsin gets. They've moved the goalpost and they're still missing.
Correct.
Worse.
Had they made it, had it been 12 the entire time, or go all the way back to like the start of 2000, they had a 12-team playoff. How many times Wisconsin would have made it? Maybe a perennial playoff contender. Not anywhere close to that at this moment, or what seems to be in the future, any time in the near future.
And I want to get to Wisconsin here in a minute, but like, is this playoff? We all get it's about money. I guess I wondered if you had an angle where it's like, well, if Notre Dame would be in this year, then, but there's always going to be a Notre Dame. Won't there be, like, no matter how big, like,
well, now there will be. Yeah. Cause they have this, they have this written in that if they finish in the top 12, they're automatically in. So that's awesome.
Bunch of losers.
Yep.
I just, the debates about the 5th and 6th school that would get left out, those did it for me. That was electric because it truly felt like those schools were getting boned, like TCU that one year.
Yeah,
I would listen. I wanted that. Now it's like, okay, well, they were the 15th. I don't care. That doesn't do anything for me.
I mean, it's the same thing we talk about the NCAA tournament, though, too, right? Like the 69th, 70th, 70. Okay, we talk about that for a day.
Yeah,
and then it means nothing because those teams had no shot of making a run all the way to the championship. At 13 and 14. a team like Notre Dame, which went to the national championship last year, perhaps could have made a run had they gotten in. But at 17 and 18 or 25 and 26, if they were to expand it that far, then I don't know that we're talking about those teams nearly as much as we are talking about Notre Dame right now. But you're right. The year Ohio State jumped an unbeaten TCU team because they beat the absolute living daylight out of Wisconsin and got in and won a national championship. So
is that 2014? What year was that?
Yeah.
And wasn't TCU's the last game that they played, because at the time the Big 12 didn't have a conference championship, so they were sitting idle. Is that how that went?
I don't know if TCU was even in the Big 12 at that point.
You might be right.
They probably were. I'm trying to think, because TCU was not in the Big 12, but they played Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl in 2011. But maybe they were there by that time. It's irrelevant. Ohio State did what they did to Wisconsin, beat them 59-0, and got in, and they rolled, beat Alabama, and then who else they beat? Oregon. I think they beat Oregon because Marcus Mariota was the Heisman Trophy winner that year over Melvin Gordon for some reason.
Thanks, Nick Toon, by the way, for that Rose Bowl. I always look back at really good performance by him in a couple of big spots that mattered. Zach Heilprin is here. Let's talk about the Badgers. You should listen to him and Zach do that on the camp. So Eugene Hilton, that's the kid's name, right? Has announced that he's leaving.
Correct.
Dylan Jones. Are they leaving because they want more money? And the Badgers said, no. Or is it simply, as I saw you tweet, like, how can you make the case that they should stay with the offensive year that this program just had?
Well, I mean, with Eugene Hilton Jr., two separate situations here for me. Eugene Hilton Jr. has the potential to be a very, very good very, very good wide receiver. And Wisconsin has no wide receivers right now. They have 2 guys plus 2 recruits. So they have 4 scholarship guys right now. And neither of the guys that are back have, big time players, Chris Brooks Jr. and Tyrell Henry. So they needed Eugene Hilton Jr. and he could have been 1 or 2. And apparently Wisconsin was not treating him as such. And look, money was not going to be, I think, a huge thing for him. His dad obviously playing in the NFL for as long as he did, T.Y. Hilton. So it was not going to be like a huge thing for him. He just wanted to be treated like he was going to be that guy. And I don't know that was the case for Wisconsin. Maybe they didn't view it that way. Dylan Jones, a little bit different. I thought Dylan Jones would be great this year.
Same.
He was not. And a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. I think Dylan Jones is going to go find a spot that's going to be good for him. Wisconsin has Darian Dupree. We'll see what happens with Gideon Atuka, the way that he got hurt, and some of the things that are being said about that right now. I'm not sure on that. So I think a portal running back is certainly, maybe even 2, will be something that Wisconsin has to look at. But the wide receiver rooms, the running backs room, the quarterback room, the offensive line is certainly going to be this way. So many new faces are coming. So many new faces.
So are they going to go out and spend that money on? Here's just what I don't get. Like, if guys leave because of money, the Eugene Hilton thing is weird. It's like, if he just wants his ass kicked, kiss his ass. You don't have to buy what you're saying. That's free. That doesn't cost anything. I'm great at it, and I have no money, so I'm one of the best. They should hire me. But
did you say you're a world-class ass kisser? Is that what you're saying?
I'm one of the best, truly. I don't think anyone does it quite like me.
But a lot of people see through it, though.
Well, maybe you. Maybe, I don't know that a lot do. Maybe some. I think you probably do. I guess my concern, I saw our friend Vagabond John tweeting about this today. It's like, why would the Badgers balk at an opportunity to pay guys they already have, who they recruited or they previously brought in, only to then go blow money on an unproven player from somewhere else who's probably going to cost just as much? I don't just want to use this investment to reshuffle the deck chairs this offseason. That wasn't supposed to be the idea.
I mean, Eugene Hilton Jr. had 8 catches for 91 yards. I would suggest that is unproven, correct?
Oh, all right.
Dylan Jones,
as a freshman.
I don't disagree. I'm saying if you're talking about unproven, that is unproven. That doesn't mean that a guy, they're going to go out. I think they're going to go out and try and get veterans. Like, I think that's the plan. Whether it actually works or not, I have no clue. I mean, but this offense, Grant, we talk about all the guys are losing, and there are some guys you want to hold on to. Eugene Hilton Jr. was absolutely a guy you wanted to hold on to. Dylan Jones,
yeah,
I probably would, because I just know what the offensive line was, and I don't know that there was a ton there. But we saw Gideon Atuka have a little bit more success just in his little opportunity there at the end of the season. He was a better fit for that offensive line. But they don't want that offensive line next year. They want an offensive line that's going to open holes. They're going to want an offensive line that's going to plow people off the ball, and that just didn't happen with this group. But this offense was the lowest scoring offense, Big Ten offense, since 1997. Like, why would you want all these guys back? Why would you not just go out and replace everybody that you can?
Sure.
I'm talking from their perspective. I don't know that that's what I would do. I would try and hold on to some of the younger talent. But my job is also, I guess my job's always on the line, but my job is not on the line like Luke Fickell's in 2026, where the roster that he has to put together is going to determine whether he gets 2027 or not. And so maybe he has to go about it differently. Him and Jeff Grimes have to go about it differently. They got a new offensive line coach. I think we'll see some of the young offensive linemen head out the door that they have recruited here in recent years, and they'll try and bring in veterans instead. This is obviously a make or break, and I don't know that it's great for the future of the program, but they're banking on it being good for the immediate future of the program.
I don't like that when the interests of the program and the people in power are not aligned. I'm not a fan of that. That doesn't bode well typically.
No, it doesn't. And again, but here's the one good thing about people being able to transfer as many times as they want is you can rebuild your program pretty quickly from year to year. It's just a matter of whether the people that are in charge of it right now are actually going to do that, whether you trust them to actually do that. And I've seen nothing in the last 3 years that would suggest that that is going to happen and that I actually trust it to happen. So that's the problem. I don't trust the people in charge to rebuild it.
I saw this morning. It made me smile. I wanted to ask you about it. Did you see Kirby Smart's comment that was going viral?
I did not.
I'll read it to you. Everybody's announcing what they're doing. I'm announcing that I'm going in the portal. I'm announcing that I'm re-signing. How about you announce that you're getting better and you're going to practice? I like that Kirby Smart is mocking every player's obsession with posting a graphic and announcing their intent to do something. This is a battle I've been fighting for a while. I love this.
I don't care about kids announcing that they're transferring. I don't care about kids announcing that they're coming back. I don't care about kids announcing that they're committing. The one I cannot stand is the ones that don't have any eligibility left, and they're declaring for the draft. Where else are you going? You have nowhere else to go. There's no place for you to go from now.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you're putting your name in for the draft. You have no eligibility left. What are you doing? Those are stupid. Those are stupid. Say thank you, all that good stuff. But declaring for the draft? Yeah, of course you are. You have nowhere else to go.
It annoys me. Did you see this comment at the beginning of our interview? I always love having you. I'm thrilled that you're here. Matthew on the live stream says, Zach always looks so thrilled. You're a business-like individual. What can I say? You're locked in.
Well, again, you're going to ask the tough questions, and I'm just trying to have my game face on and ready to answer whatever comes my way. And you just throw curveball after curveball, and then you bring the heat. It's just really, really tough. But I always appreciate my time with you, Grant.
Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Zach. I will see you soon. Thank you for doing this.
All right. Thank you, Grant.
Zach Heilprin. I got to go pull this Kirby Smart audio. I love this. How about you announce you're going to practice? Stupid kids and their notes app announcements with much consideration and lots of prayer. Oh, yeah. Stupid. All right. Mike Clemens at 5:35. We can continue this discussion next. You want to talk college football? We can get back to the Packers. Whatever's on your mind. 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
We're focused on this team. I think it would be, remiss to say that we're focused on roster management. We're not focused on it. We're focused on, prep and getting better. And for a while, it's been like intrinsically looking at ourselves and asking each player, did you come here to develop? Did you truly come here to develop? Because if you did, all your buddies are out there right now. Everybody's, announcing what they're doing. I'm announcing that I'm going in the portal. I'm announcing that I'm re-signing. How about you announce that you're getting better? And you're going to practice and actually do what the 20 and 30 years of college football players did before you, which was practice in December when they're on good teams and get better. Because if you're going to play somewhere else, you know what you need to do? You need to get better. If you're going to play here, you know what you need to do? You need to get better.
That's Kirby Smart. That's the comment that I shared with Zach. I wanted his reaction to that. And it's even better when you can hear it because you can tell in his voice how over it he is. Everyone's announcing what they're doing. It makes me laugh. I was cutting it over the break. I just couldn't stop laughing at this. Everyone's announcing what they're doing.
Everybody's announcing what they're doing.
I'm announcing I'm going into the transfer portal. I'm announcing that I'm
announcing what they're doing.
And of all the things in college football that annoy me and all the things that have become annoying with this sport, I seriously think, and this is a personal problem of mine, you're like, Grant, this is weird. You need to get over it. The weird thing that bothers me most is the obsession that all of these athletes have and their agents and the people in their camp, the obsession that all these athletes have with, well, I got to put out a statement. I got to announce what I'm doing. I got to make a graphic and I got to sign it and I got to have some inspirational quote. I was activated for 2 games. I played in 2 games this year. Now I got to make a big announcement because everyone's waiting to hear my announcement on what I'm doing. So I love that sound from Kirby Smart. I'll get your phone calls right after Zach's update. If you're on hold, I promise. Right on the other side, right to you.
Well, we made all the hot spots. My money flowed like wine. And then I go down to
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers players back in the building today as they begin to prep for Saturday night's matchup with the Ravens at Lambeau Field. A win for Green Bay this week or next week at Minnesota would clinch a spot in the playoffs. Could also get in if the Lions lose one of their final 2 games. They could potentially set up a 3rd game against the Bears in the postseason, something Coach Matt LaFleur was asked about this week.
I'm not worried about anything past Baltimore. So I want to get through this press conference and then turn my attention to the Ravens.
Packers have lost back-to-back games for the 2nd time this season. The previous 2 were followed by 4 straight wins. LaFleur expecting a similar response from his group.
I'm very confident, knowing the character of the guys in our locker room, that they'll be ready to roll up their sleeves and get to work.
It'll be the Packers and Ravens on Saturday night. Kick is set for 7:20. Turning to Wisconsin, they've got 15 players in the transfer portal after running back Dylan Jones announced this morning. Portal doesn't officially open until January 2nd, which is also when teams can start adding players.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the 3rd largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Bucks are in Indianapolis. It is where they're going to take on the Pacers tonight. Milwaukee just 11-18 on the year. They've lost 3 straight games. Tip is at 6. And the Wisconsin basketball team getting some time off after beating Central Michigan last night at the Kohl Center. They won't play again until next Tuesday against Milwaukee. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
It's a part of the job description. You just try to do what you can to take the mental reps, and if you got to get extra reps after practice or whenever you're individual, you take those reps as serious as you can because you don't know when you're going to be called upon.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Hour number 2. I'm announcing that I'm going to get to your phone calls here in just a minute. Mike Clemens, here's another announcement. He's coming up at 5:35. So a lot of show left. I will be off tomorrow and Thursday. Back on Friday, I'll be remote broadcasting at our friends at Kai's Chevytown up in Menominee. Nice, mellow little broadcast from their showroom. Looking forward to that. Bill will be off tomorrow and Wednesday as well. He'll be back on Friday. Kate will be producing. So a treat for many listeners that prefer Kate to me, except for Z and the D. We learned this morning that he's not interested, as if that were. Anyways, thank you, Z. That's another announcement that was made today. I'm glad that Z and the D made that abundantly clear.
Yeah, everybody's announcing what they're doing.
Announcing what they're doing. That's my favorite soundbite of the week so far. It's only Tuesday. Feels like a Friday, though. Feels like a Thursday or Friday. All right, to your phone calls. Thank you for waiting. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Yeah, you got Darnell.
Hey, Darnell. I got Darnell. What's up, Darnell?
Yeah, you got Darnell on the air here. Listen, you forgot one really important thing with the announcements. You have to also say hashtag respect my decision. Very important omission there.
Yes.
And of course, nobody respects any of the decisions. It's kind of hilarious that is part of every post because there is no respect from really anybody that is actually on the receiving end of these announcements. Anyways, I just weep for the college football and college sports in general that I grew up with, you know? And I think that's where a lot of people are at right now, where it's gotten so ridiculous that, you know, beyond just being a pay for play type of league now, it's like you can't even get to the right number anymore for people because you get one number for 1 year and then it's like, oh well, I didn't have the season I thought I was going to have, or I've got more money over here, and then it's, well, I'm going to jump ship, you know? So it's not even so much like that you pay to get players into your program, which is what it used to be, right? That's how Alabama and Tennessee and, you know, whatever. I don't want to crap on SEC schools, but they paid their players under the table, right? So it used to be that they paid their players, they got them in, they were there for 4 years, and then Alabama won 30 championships in a row, right? Because they're able to retain this talent. They have NFL rosters 2 and 3 deep on their, you know what I mean? So that kind of thing didn't work, but it was at least nice to see some loyalty, right? It was nice to see players develop and get better on the same team, like playing NCAA 09, right? So much more fun than NCAA 25 because the rosters aren't different every single year drastically, right? And it's the same when you're actually watching the games. In real life, it's the exact same thing as the video game now, where it's just every roster is different every year, and now it's no different with the Badgers, and I mourn it a little bit. I really do.
Yeah. Do you know, Darnell, which gospel we're getting in the Catholic canon this year? Is it the one with the fancy Christmas story, or is it the one with all of the names that takes like 20 minutes and everyone can't believe what they're listening to? You know the one I'm talking about?
I mean, so I do, but I also don't, because my wonderful Lutheran church, we read Luke 2 every year. Yeah, which is the only real ball knowers listen to Luke 2 every single year. That's Yeah.
Is that the one that starts, and this is how the birth of Jesus came about? I will have to look up. I'll have to look up the different gospels.
It's something along those lines, but yeah, it's basically like a little history lesson because Luke was a little nerd, so that's how he told his stories. So, and it's really, really well done. I think my favorite Christmas story, of course. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Do you go to do you do a candlelight Christmas Eve service? Or
No,
do you go
we do. Well, you know, when I was a kid, Darnell, I'm going to let you go. Have a good Christmas, by the way.
You as well.
Merry Christmas. I will answer that question. You can hang up and listen. We used to, growing up, we would do like the 4 o'clock, and that's when with all the kids. And then we got to a point where it's like, I don't want to be around kids anymore. So we did the 9 p.m. And now it's like, I don't want to wait to 9 p.m. to go to church. So now we're back with the kids. Although I don't know. I guess I haven't talked to my family about our plan tomorrow. Which, by the way, I would do my show tomorrow if I had a morning show or an afternoon show. It's just we're doing dinner and church tomorrow night. And at that point, it's like, I'm not sorry. I'll be back on Friday. Plus, I mean, we've said our piece so far this week. We complain about the loss. We're talking about church. So I think we can do without for the next 2 days. Wisco Sports Show. Let's go to line number 1. Who's this?
Hi, Grant. This is Riley calling in from Michigan.
Riley, hey, I haven't heard from you in a bit. What's new?
So I was actually in Wisconsin this past weekend, so that was pretty nice.
Nice. Were you happy to be back? I don't know where you're from, but were you happy to be here?
Yeah, it was good. Visited family for the holidays.
Nice.
Got to do some sightseeing. Saw Pfizer for the first time. That was pretty cool on Friday.
What'd you think?
I think I thought it was honestly a little small for what I thought it would be.
Intimate. We prefer the term intimate.
Yeah, intimate. Intimate's a better word to put it.
There you go. What do you think?
So anyway, I'm calling today, about the Packer game.
Mm-hmm.
Rough watch.
Indeed.
So, but the problem I have is actually with the reaction I saw from a lot of people online and in person after the fact, which is a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm happy that the Bears rivalry is back and it's a real rivalry again because the Bears are good again." I hate that.
I do as well.
I hate that sentiment. I think it was something like my senior year of high school until a year and a half after I graduated college. They didn't beat us. I loved it. I loved every game. I loved it.
Their last 2 losses have been total sell jobs. Week 18 last year, LaFleur just took a phantom timeout for no reason, and then they fielded an onside kick. We should be talking about, I don't know how many in a row it would be, but, like that streak should still be going, the streak you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it'd be up to like 19 by now, if it wasn't for that. And that's the thing. There's no greater joy than beating your rival. I don't know. I hate the concept of, well, now it's a real rivalry. It still was a real rivalry. It's the same thing with Wisconsin and Minnesota up until like 4 years ago. I think it was something with that too until like 2022 or something. I don't think I saw them lose in my lifetime.
They're pretty good. I don't need rivalries to be balanced for them to be enjoyable.
I don't either.
I would prefer to own the rivalry and never lose in the rivalry. I think that's better.
Absolutely.
That. Now, the games have been pretty electric. Riley, I appreciate it. Have a Merry Christmas. The games have been entertaining. It's just they are less entertaining when my team doesn't win. So my analysis and my perception of this will be self-serving, obviously. It's the same with injuries where it's like, I want to beat the other team at full strength. I don't care. I don't care if they're playing all backups. That win counts, man. No, you don't cheer for injuries, obviously, publicly. You never root. Let me put it this way. You never root for players on the opposing team to get hurt out loud. You would never do that. I hate when opposing players get hurt. I swear. Trust me. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Of course you want the other team to get hurt. What are you, soft?
I said Dave. Dave, Dave from Manone, everyone. We don't cheer for injuries out loud. You keep it.
What are you gonna mulch your pocket? Of course we cheer.
You keep it to yourself. You keep externally. You go, oh, that's too bad. You never want to see that. And on the inside, you're like, yeah, it just got easier.
Before my question, I was doing a presentation, in Chicago, and never go into a presentation with 10 people that are all Bears fans. And my opening line is, by the way, the Bears still suck.
They do.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was kind of funny because 3 of them picked up a chicken bone and threw it at me. Now that's a hell of an icebreaker.
What kind of presentation was this?
Oh no, for frustration and trying to pick up some more business for Fire and Smoke. So I was doing a presentation and I knew they were all Bears fans and they're all eating chicken. So yeah, I got 3 of them to throw a bone at me, and I'm going, here, that's what hell. I said, you came closer than Williams did to most of his receivers all game.
Correct. You're absolutely correct in that. And again, anyway, Caleb Williams played really good as long as you don't count, the first 58 and a half minutes of the game.
2 questions. One, you were talking about church. I'm going tomorrow at 4, and I'm already dreading it because every year we have the same family who sits in the back with 3 kids, and I just want to take all 3 of them and throw them out in a snowbank. They don't shut up, and the mother goes, shh, 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 like that, It's like, parents, take your kids, put a muzzle on them, or get them the hell out of here. Oh, my God. But you mentioned the 4 o'clock service. That's what I'm going. By 4:30, I will be ready to
Dave, if your church isn't crying, your church is dying. You need the young blood in there. So just, take it.
Not 3 and 4 and 5 years old. But
all right.
Here's my question. Yes. I did not watch the Badger basketball game last night because they boycotted for one night because I'm disgusted with how they play, how they don't care. But then I hear Blackwell didn't play, and who is this freshman they took the red shirt off of? Is this somebody supposed to be pretty good, maybe going to help? Because last time I checked, they didn't need another guard. They needed somebody in the paint who could show some guts.
So Nolan, put some respect on Nolan Winter's name. He's showed more guts than a lot of their players. It's mattered too that Braden Carrington's been beat up, so that's probably part of it as well. But are you talking about Hayden Jones? Who's the freshman that we're trying to?
No, the other guy, Zach, somebody who he played for the first time.
Oh, Kinzinger. Yeah, Kinzinger. Yeah.
That's the one. So who's this cat?
I didn't watch the other night either, but there was because was this on last night? I was watching football last night.
It was on last night. I said I was going to do a 1-game boycott, and then finally to Darnell Chump. Pretty simple. Boycott. I gave up my tickets. I refuse to go. I refuse to buy the garb, and I refuse to have kids glorify these players because every one of them, they're all pieces of crap.
Well,
they are. So I would say have a happy Christmas, but who cares? Bah humbug.
Merry Christmas, Dave. Have a good holiday, and my condolences to your experience at church. As a blind man, that would be tough if your only sense is hearing and you're just trying to listen, and you got to listen to a bunch of screaming kids. Look, kids at church, it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a tricky, I know where you're coming from, Dave. But the thing is, if the kid's making a little noise, that'll happen. If the kid's bawling his eyes out, like at a certain point, like, can you just take it out, please? Just take it out in the back. Like, the kid's really pushing it. I don't have much to say about Badgers hoops today. A couple of Packers updates, and I can give you some of the latest from Matt LaFleur, who spoke earlier today. Both of the quarterbacks are like not free and clear. They're progressing about as well as you could hope at this point of the week. So both Jordan Love and Malik Willis, are practicing. Both are limited. The thing is, you got to remember about concussion protocol is you can practice in a limited sense without clearing it. And I don't know if it's specifically if you need to be cleared for contact. I don't know what the threshold is. I assume that's what it is. That would make sense. Although today they were only doing a jog through, so it's not like that would have. Some of this stuff is an approximation. But Jordan Love limited today. Malik Willis limited. Now, that's with the shoulder. Josh Wiley is back at practice and limited. I thought he blew something out, but then this morning I remember that he only got a concussion in that Broncos game. So Fitzpatrick has the Achilles. Tucker Kraft has the knee. So they were down to Luke Musgrave, basically, and that's it. If Josh Wiley could play this weekend, again, he's mostly a blocker, but they need that. Because Luke Musgrave is a receiving tight end, not that he's very good at the receiving. Micah Parsons had his kid. He's going to have surgery soon. He'll be back around the facility, says Matt LaFleur. Colin Oliver was activated, and it didn't seem like, from what Matt LaFleur said, that he would be playing anytime soon, at least not this weekend, but they like how he looks, I guess. Evan Williams said, and I'm reading a quote from Matt Schneidman. We'll hear more from Mike Clemens specifically on this, maybe some Evan Williams audio. Says, taking it slow, but definitely optimistic. He plans to do individual drills tomorrow at practice. And Malik Willis says he expects to be ready to start Saturday night against the Ravens if need be. Willis on Love. He's good. He's chilling. So those are the latest injury updates. We got time here for one more call, and then we're going to go to our next segment. Mike Clemens looming again at the bottom of this hour, thanks to the Bay Motel. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this? Hello.
Hey, this is Louie in Eau Claire.
Hey, what's up, Louie?
Hey, Grant. So I saw the Packers, and you may have mentioned this. I don't know. I know the Pro Bowl is a completely meaningless thing, the game itself, but it is an honor to be named to it. I would say. Micah Parsons, only Packer to be named to the Pro Bowl, and Jordan Love, I think, definitely deserved to be.
I thought he would. I thought he was going to be. I expected him to be today, so I was a little surprised, I guess.
Yeah. Would you think that says anything at all about how outsiders view the Packers roster? Obviously, we're checking them out every week and kind of maybe have a myopic view of them. Do you think at all we're overshooting the overall talent of the roster just based on that? Obviously, Zach Tom is a Pro Bowl type player. He's been in and out of the lineup. Mm-hmm. Is it more the injuries, or are we overshooting their talent?
No, I think they're a team that has more depth. You know what I mean? Like there are teams in the NFL, like the Chiefs, for example. The Chiefs were completely and totally built around Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones. Like those are the star players. Those are the guys who have to show up and win. The Packers are a little bit more, I don't want to say balanced, because the Chiefs have good players too. But like Evan Williams is really good. He's probably right below what we believe to be a Pro Bowl player. Javon Bullard's really popped this year, but not quite there. I think the Packers, you would love to think, have 4 or 5 guys between both sides of the ball that a year from now could be Pro Bowlers, or if they were healthy. Zach Tom and I think Christian Watson's another example. Like if Christian Watson had played the full year, maybe he is, at least close to being a Pro Bowler too. So that's something that came to mind when I saw the list. I thought Jordan Love would make it, but I guess Dak Prescott was the other guy that kind of got that last spot.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'd rather have Jordan Love than Dak Prescott, but Dak puts up big numbers down in that dome down there. I kind of am along the same wavelength. I think they probably are a little bit more deserving, but it is a little bit concerning to me that the Packers had to dip outside of the organization to get Parsons and McKinney and Jacobs. I do wish some of those guys are a little bit more homegrown. Yeah,
and I guess maybe we look at Edgerrin Cooper, right, Louie? There was a caller, was it Carl in River Falls on Bill's show earlier today? I can't remember who it was. Basically said, I was hoping for a little bit more explosion from Edgerrin Cooper, forcing turnovers, forcing huge negative plays. I think he's been really good this year. I don't know that he's been a game-breaking player on the level that a lot of us hoped for. And that's another player you probably look at in this conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, last year it looked like he was really ascending and making kind of big pop plays, and that really hasn't totally come to fruition. That's what I was most excited about when they got Parsons, is that we're going to have 2 menaces out there. And Cooper's not been bad by any means, but not quite ascended like I hoped.
No, certainly not a bad year at all. But then again, I think that's the story of this whole defense. Like Xavier McKinney's got to catch the ball, and Edgerrin Cooper, an extra turnover here or there. I think Jordan Love by the end of this thing will be a Pro Bowler. They'll have 1 or 2 guys opt out, and I think he's probably the next in line. He didn't throw a ton of touchdowns. Josh Jacobs had a lot of touchdowns on the goal line. So if he has 5 or 6 more touchdowns, is that the difference? I don't really care about that. I care about how he's impacted winning. I think he's done a very good job of that this year. I don't really care about Pro Bowls, although I thought he'd get in. And from what I had read last night, I think a lot of people expected it. We'll take a break here. Mike Clemens looming at 5:35. We'll hear a little bit from Matt LaFleur, some important cuts from today's press conference, and then get the latest from what Mike is seeing up inside the locker room and around the facilities, the hallways, the bowels of 1265. More of the Wisco Sports Show and more of your calls coming up next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show continuing. Mike Clemens in about 10 minutes here. You hear a little bit from Matt LaFleur. Can I just complain about one thing? This is petty. This is cope. Yes. I understand. But I follow 670 The Score on Twitter, and they're posting all these clips. And look, I'm happy for Bears fans. They needed this. You know, it's funny for a market of fans that flipped a tit over the Brewers flying an L flag. I've seen all these clips of all these hosts and guests being like, it's wins like that. It reminded me of watching with my dad. Like, I could just feel it in the city on Saturday. It's like, you guys beat a better. You realize it's a regular season game. You beat a backup quarterback. I'm happy for you. And all these rivalry games are huge. So you beat the Packers, you beat the Bears. Sure. But holy balls. It's laying out a little thick. I'm going to take a call here, but first, here's the opening 50 seconds of Matt LaFleur's presser. Just a couple of injury updates, and here's some housekeeping things.
Jordan still in concussion protocol?
Yeah, I mean, that's a process that takes multiple days to get through.
Do you ever have any inkling on whether a guy's going to be available or not once they're in that process?
I would say, yeah, you might have a educated guess, but in terms of that's always a tough one to navigate. There's a lot of steps to getting through that. But I do think just my conversations with people, I have not specifically talked to him today, but it sounded like he was doing better.
What did you think of the hit?
What did you think of the hit?
The helmet, it also looked like Jordan ducked a bit, so maybe it became more helmet to helmet than it would have been, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was a hit to the head. I think they called it the right way, and it's an unfortunate part of our game. Sometimes it happens.
So just a little bit of an injury update, as much as you can know. I kept getting calls during Bill's show where people would dial up. It's like, I don't want to go on the air, but like, when are we going to know when's Love getting out of the protocol? It's like, well, it's not a waiting period to buy a gun. It's whenever his brain is better, man. I can't tell you. So it's about as much as we can know about an injury. But the nice part about concussion protocol, he either gets out or he doesn't. Like, there's no matter of opinion from team or doctor. It's just whether he clears protocol or not. See, it's like a field sobriety test or a breathalyzer test. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Eric on I-90.
Good evening, Eric on I-90. What's going on? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And all the listeners, I hope they have a very Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it.
But now, I do want to get a little bit more serious now. I can remember a young man who was on the radio maybe 5-6 years ago. He was on the radio on the drive home, and he was saying, boy, I just wish somebody could compete with Green Bay in the division. It's so boring winning all these games. Do you remember those days?
I do.
Remember?
Yeah.
It was so boring just winning all the time.
It does get old.
And I'm sensing that you don't like it that much.
Well, I would rather win.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad some of you guys figured it out. You're a Vikings fan, so I think the Vikings have always been well run. They've just ebbed and flowed at quarterback a little bit. Zimmer, it got kind of rough towards the end, but no, I mean, I imagined myself saying that on the radio once upon a time. I was probably being a little bit of a prick saying it, but yeah, it does get boring. I'm not going to lie. I mean, what am I supposed to say every day?
Oh, yeah.
My team's the best. I own them. They have 13 world championships. I do like a challenge,
well, you do
some
say
adversity.
That you do say that almost every day.
I do.
That's
say
okay.
That every day. Yeah.
So, but anyways, I watched San Francisco last night. That's going to be a handful too.
They're good, and I don't like. I have
good.
never been more impressed with Kyle Shanahan because like all of his good players are hurt. Not all of them, but most of them.
I mean, he kind of tanked for 1 year, but he's brought that team right back. I'm just the way they're playing. So, anyways, I've been pimping you about Nixon a little bit. That was kind of a dirty hit, just a little bit of a dirty hit.
What, running into DJ Moore?
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, right? I mean, secret. You don't say it out loud. I know you're not going to say it, but it was just a little bit.
You don't cheer for opposing players to get hurt out loud.
Not out loud, you don't.
You don't see.
Not
You don't.
out
Say.
loud, you don't.
All right, Eric. I'm going to get to one more call, and then Mike Clemens. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Have a good one.
Yeah, nice.
Have a Merry Christmas, Graham.
Christmas down in the district, I hope, for Eric and his family. Yeah, I mean, Nixon popped DJ Moore coming across the middle. Whatever. Guys are hitting each other on both sides. I've been bitching about the hits to Jordan Love. I mean, I did tweet Ben Bountygate Johnson, but I had a couple of beers. And also, don't hold what I say on the internet responsible. I'm not responsible for that. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. Coyote Mike.
Coyote
How are
Mike.
you doing?
I hear the shuffling of feet. I could tell it was you. I'm doing good.
Yeah. I just wanted to call and wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Well, very Merry Christmas to you, Mike.
And hopefully the Packers will have a good Saturday night and things will be looking good for the final week against the dreaded Minnesota Vikings. So that's all I had to say.
Beautiful. Short and sweet, Coyote Mike. Have a very Merry Christmas. The always hated, never feared Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they could have a playoff spot clinched as early as Thursday, because if the Lions lose on Thursday, and I can't remember who they play, do they play the Vikings? I think on Thursday. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I know the Lions play in advance of this game. I don't know that it makes a difference. I suppose they could play Malik Willis even if Jordan Love clears the concussion protocol, but I don't know that they would do that with Malik Willis with a banged up shoulder. I don't know. You're either good or you're not. Like, they're not going to send him out there with half a concussion. It's not possible, again, with the way the protocol works. One more play or one more call here, and then we're going to get to Mike Clemens. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hi, Grant.
Ron?
Yeah, this is Ron.
What's going on?
I think the Packers will win. I think they'll play well. I know, but they got to win this game. They don't want to have to go to Minnesota because Detroit plays Minnesota Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I just prefer that they just win Saturday night. And if they have to go to Minnesota needing to win that game, that could get dicey. And
I also just don't want them to lose 3 in a row. Like, at some point, you got to get back on the horse, right?
Yeah, they need to win this game, get back on the right track.
Yeah, I think so. Do you think they will?
I think they will. They did everything right for 58 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They did it, and hopefully they can do something right for 60 minutes. So
Hopefully, or you just do enough right in the first, 45 minutes that the last 15 doesn't matter as much. You're absolutely right, Ron. I appreciate the call. I always like you appearing on the evening show and not just the morning show. I would like for the Packers to win, if only because I don't want them losing 3 in a row. I just think then you really start to get frustrated and you start to get some questions. Mike Clemens is going to join us next. We'll talk about all these things and everything Packers related, thanks to the Bay Motel in Green Bay, which is where he resides. I'm gonna give him a call on that landline phone up there at the Bay Motel and the Bay Motel Family Restaurant, and we'll get him on to talk Packers next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show, welcome back. Mike Clemens standing by. Thanks to the Bay Motel in Green Bay. Quiet, cozy, comfortable, and less than a mile from Lambeau Field. So any adventures that you're taking up there, whether it's for a Packer game or not, make that your first stop and the place where you set up shop for the weekend, place you rest, and get a delicious meal. The Bay Family Restaurant, home-style cooking 7 days a week. And that's especially nice. Like I'm thinking of the Ravens game coming up on Saturday. A nice warm meal to build a base before going out into the elements for a football game. You can't beat it. So Mike joining us. The headlines today are the health of the quarterbacks. Now, we saw what happened with Jordan Love. He conked his head, that helmet-to-helmet hit, and we knew about the concussion issue. I didn't necessarily notice Malik Willis's injury. He's got a shoulder after he took a pop from Montez Sweat on Saturday night.
Exactly. So that's the first question that, people ask me if they see me at lunch today at the coffee shop is, well, who's going to play quarterback? And I shrug my shoulders like, I don't know. Because you got Jordan Love with a concussion. You got Malik Willis, his backup quarterback, with a sore right shoulder, his throwing shoulder. Over in Baltimore, you've got Lamar Jackson with a serious back contusion where he had to leave their game, and Hundley had to come in. So I don't know who's playing quarterback anywhere. I've done the concussion thing now for 20 years and it's like LaFleur said today, I'm not getting into details of the protocol because I have to respect the process. It's very medical. It's very detailed. It's very technical. And the various steps that you have to go through, the testing you have to go through each day, and the stages you have to go through before, you can get clearance. And yet, Jordan Love walked right past me about an hour ago, went to his locker, end of the day, put on his little hoodie, seemed to be fine. But, I've seen that over and over again. And, guys are out for 2 weeks with a concussion. So It depends on the hit and the player and all kinds of things. So how bad is it? Is he making progress? Legitimately, I don't think they know. I just be guessing. Malik Willis, his shoulder, he said, yeah, it hurt pretty bad when Montez Sweat, all 320 pounds of him, landed on me the other night. But he said, adrenaline. He says, I think it's okay. Well, it's his throwing shoulder. Now, they didn't have an outdoor practice today. Today was just meetings and mental reps because they're trying to get their bodies back. It's even though they played Saturday night, feels like a short week, and they're trying to get their work in as early as they can. Maybe they can give them a little bit of a day off at the end of the week so they can be with families for Christmas. But Malik was asked, and here's the point: you started Jordan Morgan this week in for Zach Tom at the right tackle instead of Kennard, the veteran, and on this key moment. Here comes Montez Sweat, and if you've seen it, like on the TikTok version of it from the 22, the rear camera, or maybe it happened was during the Fox broadcast. I mean, Montez Sweat lines up way outside, like those defensive ends do that have got that quickness but that size. He's coming way off of Jordan Morgan's outside shoulder, right shoulder, and Morgan, he takes one or two steps back, and somehow he was sort of on his back heels with both feet planted, and all Sweat did was just shove him right in the middle, right in the sternum, and he landed on his ass. I mean, his feet go flying, and Montez goes straight to Malik, wraps up, lands on him, drives that shoulder into the ground. And so we asked Malik just about an hour ago at his locker, do you think that Montez Sweat was dirty in that hit? Because you did make the completion to Jaden Reed.
No, I think I just felt kind of funny, and he was just trying to get me down.
You don't think you remember the whole body weight thing?
I mean, I try not to get too into that. I just try to play the game the way it's called. I mean, they do their best, and we're all human.
How did you make that pass? I mean, I know you mentioned adrenaline, but if you were in pain.
Jay Reed made it pretty easy. He was open, and just get it to him, do the best you can.
Malik Willis is a fascinating dude. But I also think there's got to be an admission between football players, offense and defense. Like, it's really hard. So you're supposed to hit me, and I'm explosive and can run away, and you know that. You're supposed to hit me and get me down, but you're also not supposed to land on me. Like, I'd like to think that these football players understand that everyone's just trying their absolute very best to play within the rules of this sport that's just incredibly violent.
And I think, just the amateur that I am,
of course.
And then I felt pretty good about it when LaFleur said it. I can't remember, maybe Sunday's presser or today, is that, okay, here comes in Malik Willis. And once again, within a snap or two of all the backup quarterbacks I've seen over the years, this dude looks like he'd already been playing for 3 quarters. He's got that, veteran swagger where, they break huddle, and he walks slowly up to the center, and he looks left and right. He's aware what the play clock is. He checks out the defense. And that's how you get that offense in rhythm, right? You're on your time. You're not on the clock's time. You're not on the defense's time. You're on the quarterback's time. And that's what gets offenses off the ball on time. And Malik is really good at that as a backup quarterback. Extreme confidence that way. So the guy that should have been playing right tackle is Zach Tom. He injured his knee in Denver. He did not play. He was inactive because he's going through a knee that might have some stuff going on inside. Didn't want to, talk too much more about his progress if he's got any chance of playing by this coming Saturday night against that Ravens defensive front. But we asked Zach Tom about, what's it like having to watch the Bears game in Chicago on the sidelines and watching that thing slip away Saturday night.
I mean, obviously it's frustrating, not being able to be out there, but, I've never been a part of a game where we lost like that. It happens. So you just got to move on to the next week and go from there. And I think, everybody in here kind of has that same mentality where we're just moving on.
Safe to say, Mike, they're all very annoyed and are ready to be done talking about Saturday?
Well, that's their job.
Sure.
Ravens.
Sure.
Film review on Sunday, a little bit maybe on Monday. Ravens. Get ready for Ravens.
Sure.
It's already Wednesday on their calendar, and that's understood. But there's no, we have limited, options to talk to these guys, and we're trying to learn from it as well. And sometimes it takes us a second or third look on the tape after the game in real time to really assess what happens. I mean, it's true. Sometimes our listeners at home get a better view of these games than I do from 6 stories up in the press box with binoculars and listen to Jeff Joniak and all that. So I'm trying to do the best that I can. On the other side of the ball, a guy who does a really good job at stopping the run is safety Evan Williams. I mean, the last time you played the Bears, remember how the Bears had run all over the Eagles on that Friday night game after Thanksgiving? 281 yards combined between DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, and then they came to Lambeau, and Evan Williams, they didn't get a run past 9 yards. He kept on stepping up and taking them down. Well, who are you facing on Saturday night this week? It's the Baltimore Ravens and Derrick Henry, who still looks like a Mack truck running with a football. If you saw tape from their game over this weekend. So Evans got this knee. It's a sprained knee. It happened to him in Denver as well. He sat out Saturday night. And is he going to be good to go? I don't know. I don't know. But we did talk about that he's still preparing as if he was going to play. And I think it's interesting that if you're playing that safety role like he does, not only looking to see whether it's going to be Lamar Jackson over center or Huntley, is, you're looking for where's Derrick Henry lining up, what's their formation, where's he likely, if he's going to get the ball in this play, where's he going to likely go? That's the most important thing you do for you looking for your tendencies. But what about running style? Because we all can think of Derrick Henry's running style and that famous stiff arm that he had where he just threw a guy, into the sidelines. He's got the biggest guns I've ever seen. His biceps are unbelievable. So I talked to Evan. I said, do you guys study the run style of these running backs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you both pick that up, while watching film, and you got coaches that are, giving you those tips and reminders at the start of the week. But yeah, for me, I'd take it upon myself to really, look at the styles of these running backs, just kind of, and as you go through film, you kind of just pick it up, kind of see his habits and, what his pad level is looking like, whether he's a stiff arm guy, a cutback guy, obviously with the receivers too.
So you visualize how I'm going to have to hit that guy. Right?
Well, yeah, you gotta have an attack plan.
A target.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel, and I feel like that gives me a little bit of confidence, going into the game. Because people are who they are. They've developed those habits over years of playing their game, and they're not going to change it just for one game. And so yeah, I like to have an attack plan of sorts. When I'm coming up to tackle somebody or fit up on a running back, or you got a receiver in space, understanding what his tendencies are, what he's put on tape a lot, definitely put me in the best position to, make that play.
That's Evan Williams, Mike Clemens joining us. By the way, I know we're not hearing from this guy today, but that draft last year, Mike, of Edgerrin Cooper, Evan Williams, and Javon Bullard, who slipped in on Saturday night and just kind of picked right up where Evan, I know they play slightly different positions, but physical guy who comes up from the secondary to make hits and to be a surefire tackler. Like, they found 3 awesome defenders in the draft last year.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Am I not mistaken that, I think people were so excited by the Matthew Golden pick, just the fact that they did it, by the production of Savion Williams, despite his injuries with a foot and a shoulder, the promise you see with him as a kick returner, as a jet sweep guy, that they feel pretty good about those 2 picks. And then, there's some other guys that they drafted that haven't even, there's this John Williams, I think he's a 7th round offensive lineman. He had some sort of weird back thing all through the summer. And with John Fitzpatrick, who was like your number 2 tight end, I think, behind Tucker Kraft, now he's out with a torn Achilles, and they put him on IR last night after I saw him walking out of the locker room in Chicago with the foot in the walking boot and the crutches, like, oh, geez, another one. So another starter, if you will. Okay, he had like 70 snaps the week before. He's done for the season. So that opens up a roster spot for this Colin Oliver, who was a 5th round pick this year. And they were so excited because this guy specializes in pass rush. And so I asked him, I'll tell you a story after this. I asked him, why did you miss all this time, this spring and summer, and now you're just being activated?
So it's a long story. I had surgery in March after I injured at the combine. Basically tore a tendon off of my bone. I had to have surgery on that. I got it by a great doctor, Dr. Cooper. That happened in March. And then from March until I got drafted, I just had to be rehabbing it. And it was a long process just because along the way I would get like strains and stuff because my body's getting adjusted to basically only having like 2 hamstring muscles in my right leg. So it's complicated, but I'm just glad I'm here right now, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
These guys, before they draft these players, Mike, they do have a doctor look at them, right? He's got what's going on with his hamstring there?
That's what the combine's all about. That was the creation of the combine, is how can we all combine our costs between teams and everybody can get a physical in the same spot rather than have these, have to fly to 5 different regional ones around the country. That's why they, started doing that in a centrally located Indianapolis some nearly 40 years ago. So this is Colin Oliver, who, is like born in Oklahoma City, played for Oklahoma State, a 5th round pick. He had a foot injury one year, but Goodikins was so excited about this guy because he said he is unique in his speed to the quarterback. And so last spring, he said he thought he was better after the surgery, and he participated in OTAs and like minicamp in May and June. One day we were inside the Hudson Center, and new strength and conditioning coach, and so he wants you to do this exercise, do that exercise, and then run like a 20-yard sprint and then a 40-yard sprint, but half speed. He says half speed.
Yeah.
So they line up and then blow the whistle and they take off. Well, this kid's like 10 yards ahead of everybody, and LaFleur yells, "What are you freaking doing?" And that's not the word he used. What? Oliver, come over here. What are you, 45? What are you doing? What did he say? He said had speed. God dang guy, he was just like, and you know why? Because the kid was so excited, so anxious to show his speed, it couldn't contain himself. Like, no, this is warm up, gradually warm up, and shaking his head. And then he went after the position coach, like, watch your people. I shouldn't have to do this. I'll never forget that. And I asked Colin, I said, do you remember that? Oh, yeah, I do. So, like he said, he thought he was okay, then complications, and, he's been through this roller coaster up and down. The players, what they have seen with this kid, either his college tape or in drills and all that, they're already starting to call him Little Micah.
Yeah.
To which he's pumping the brakes on that, like, whoa.
Easy.
Whoa. He's excited to show his stuff, but whatever, that's that story. So maybe he can contribute in these last couple of games, at least get some snaps under his belt and get ready for next year.
If you can be fast and chase around opposing quarterbacks, I don't know, Rashawn Gary's not going to do it. A little bit more plotting, a little bit more, heavy set type guys. He could be a nice change of pace and a nice rotational depth piece along that line.
And again, though, when you're at the game, and maybe you can see it on TV too, there are plenty of times you say, okay, let's watch Rashawn Gary. And you see him, and man, he is pushing people back. And he's also pushing people, and he's got one foot outside, like, I'm going to shove this guy into your backfield, and good luck getting around me. And that he contains. He doesn't get the credit for the quarterback hurry. He's certainly not getting credit for a quarterback sack, but he's disruptive, and he's limiting the options that a quarterback has, and that's why he's still got a job. That's why Hafley sings his praises, and that's all I know about it. Whereas Micah Parsons is just unique. He looks like a video game out there. It's just like a freak show when you're in the stadium watching that number 1 jersey, almost look like a dorsal fin running between the players. That's how unique it is. But this Colin Oliver kid, a 4.56. I looked up his time. That's what he ran at the combine. But the way these guys talk about him, he might have been faster than that. He's just got his quick reaction. It'd be great if we could see that he would already be ready to play Saturday night and get a couple snaps and see what he can do against Huntley or Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, we appreciate your time. Have a Merry Christmas, and we will talk later this week. I know you and Bill will discuss all the latest on Friday before the game on Saturday. Have a Merry Christmas. Thanks for the time.
Will do. Merry Christmas to everybody listening. Thank you so much for listening.
Mike Clemens, the Bay Motel and Family Restaurant, sponsors his appearance. Always appreciative of his time. We're going to wrap up the show next in just a couple minutes.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show. Last couple minutes, people complaining on the live stream that this game is on Peacock. So I've changed my tune on Peacock because it used to be you get the $6.99 subscription that would give you everything. I can pay $6.99 for a good variety of live sports year round. Going to get some college basketball in there, some football games, some NFL games. That's fine, $6.99. Now the version that comes with live sports is like almost $20 a month. I'm not doing tiered. I either need to get Peacock or not. Don't tell me, well, you need to get Peacock, but you need to get the version of Peacock. No. Out. I'll listen on the radio. And as Mike Clemens has said multiple times, appreciate him for his appearance, by the way. As Mike Clemens says, I don't pay to watch football. That's what sponsors are for. Bingo. I'm with Mike on that. So yeah, I am out on Peacock because they started charging more for it, like they do with everything. Funny how that works. Luke on the dirt roads says rivalries are better when you're crushing your rival. Yes, they are, but then you end up with a 20-91-7 record against OU, and you're not even their top 3 rivalries anymore. That is an excellent point. Bobby Mnomney says, I've been cheering for LeBron's knee to explode since I was 10. That's a little odd. Again, we don't cheer for injuries out loud. Have a great Christmas, a very, very, very Merry Christmas. I will be back on Friday. Ebo will be on tomorrow. Bill will be back Friday as well. Have a very Christmas. Go do something outside. Talk to people. We can do without a show for 2 days. I'll be back on Friday. Merry Christmas.